So anyway, there's the story. I was going to have this character. His name was Benny. He's the protagonist of the story. So I was going to say, do you know the protagonist doesn't have to be. That's just the person the story is about. The protagonist. Some people think the protagonist always has to be good, but the protagonist actually be evil. Hitler can be the protagonist. I can have a story. Hitler is the hero of my story, and the Jews are the evil characters in the story. So they're the antagonists.
It's all perception.
That's all. Yes. So people think that's not possible, but it is. It is possible. So I can have Hitler, the hero of my story, and the Jews are the evil characters. I actually have that in the story, and I can have the United States as the straight Satan. Maybe I should write that story. How the great Satan conquered the Germans, and they stopped the war, and Hitler was trying to win, and he died, and he ended up, and there's actually a sad ending to the story because Hitler died by killing himself. Maybe that should be the story. Would that be a great story?
Okay, well.
No?
Yeah.
I think that would be a great story. When in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes, I all alone be weep my castrate and jump. So anyway, the story involves this character, and since you haven't seen Star 13, you won't understand the mirror imaging of I've done the story. So in this story, the computers have taken over the world. The AI systems have taken over the world, and they regulated the populace to these groups these group facilities, like these huge facilities, like these managed facilities. They're basically playpen. They call them playpens.
Playpens, huh?
Like they say that the college campuses are playpens.
Yeah.
Well, these are whole cities they've broken up into manageable groups called playpens, and each group is a playpen. So they have playpen 1, playpen 2, playpen 2, the playpen 104, playpen 126, playpen 345. They have the whole list of playpens. But Benny is regulated to playpen number 13, so he's playpen 13. So anyway, he's in playpen 13, and what happens is there's a character named Steven. So you see, Steve and Benny are friends, but I didn't want to use Steve Man because that seemed like an invasion of privacy. So I don't have, in case the story becomes too famous. But I didn't want to have a direct connection between Steve and Ben. People say, "Hey, wait a second,
Benny's your dad."
Yes, I didn't want to have a direct connection between Steve and Ben. Maybe that'll come out later. Probably will come out later. But I want people to connect the dots on their own. I don't want to kind of say it out loud.
I'm gonna drive my car up around to put that flower in it.
You have shoes on.
I have shoes on. I can carry it, Marie.
So much.
Oh,
I can.
Lunch was excellent.
I had before, so I can sort of empathize, or the difference between empathy. I'll carry it with you, Marie. I'll carry it wherever you go. No. So anyway, Marie. So Benny Good. He's there, and Steve. It's not Steve Mann, but Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
He said, when Steve Martin comes out, he says, Benny, guess what? I was outside in the real world, and there's a world outside this world. And okay, I'm trying to Marie's about to leave, and I want to tell her the story idea before she leaves.
Maybe she doesn't want to hear it.
Do you know what to hear, Marie? Okay, so anyway, so Steve was going, "Hey, Benny, there's a world outside our world," and Benny doesn't believe it. So it's like it's like the analogy between Plato, when he says the story between Plato, where he talks about how some these people were in a cave, and all they saw was a cave. They never saw the real world. All they lived their whole lives in a cave. There's a cave analogy. It says that they all lived in a cave. See, and then what happens? One person left the cave and they saw the real world. They saw how brilliant the colors were and how wonderful everything was. So, but he was forced back into the cave, and we told everyone how wonderful life was outside the cave. They didn't want to hear it. They actually hated him for saying how wonderful life was outside the cave, and they didn't believe him.
Okay, we're going.
So this is sort of the analogy of the story. I'm using the analogy. See, it's retelling of the same story over again, but in a different way.
That's heavy.
So I'm taking two stories. I'm taking Stellar 13 and I'm taking the story. Where's your plant? Oh, here's plant. So I'm taking the Stellar 13, and I'm taking the analogy of the cave, taking both stories, and I'm putting together in my one story. So isn't that incredible? So what do you think? Is that a great story?
That's a good story.
So Benny Good, he hears this story, and he's like, he doesn't believe it. He doesn't believe it. But what happens is, in the story, he gets out of the cave, and he realizes that there is a world behind the world. In fact, it's not even controlled by the computers at all. It's actually controlled by a ruling class of humans that rule over the computers. So actually,
Rule over the computer.
so yeah, the computers there's actually a world beyond the world. So actually, it looks like the AI controls the computer. The AI is in control, but actually, it's a group of humans that are controlling the humans. So they realize that some humans are just they can't.
You put it in here? You get through there? That's a huge plant. Thank you.
So they say some humans are just so irrational. They have such bad programming in their head that they can't be let out in society. So what happens is they are put in playpens in these mental facilities, but they look like real worlds.
I think some people shouldn't be let out in the real world.
So what happens is Benny is able to show the people that are actually in control. They say no, that he can actually be part of the world, and so he gets at the end of the story, Benny is being part of the world. So he's actually basically a world citizen outside the. He's not in the playpen anymore.
Oh, they let him out?
Yeah, they don't have the playpen. And he actually sees that there's a world outside the world, and his mind is blown. He's like, there's an actual world beyond the world that I knew, and he has no idea that there was a world beyond his world.
That movie looks really good.
The Cabrini?
Yes.
Are you gonna watch that movie? You watch movies?
Sometimes, not that much. Not that much.
Maybe you should make an exception for the Cabrini movie.
Is it playing in the theaters?
Oh yeah, it's still playing.
I'll wait till it comes on TV.
Do you want me to check the times? You can check the times.
No, I'll wait till it comes on TV.
Because it's gonna be at least a while because it has to play.
Hopefully I have a while.
Well, how do you watch movies? Do you watch them on TV? Because
Usually Netflix.
Netflix, it might take a while because of Netflix. I don't know if Netflix will actually release it on because it's like because it's the same studio that released Sound of Freedom was Sound of Freedom. That was a very controversial film because it was people who Trumpers liked the film.
Republican.
Well, because people who support Trump liked that film, so that's the reason why it was banned.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, have a good weekend.
Okay,
Thank you.